Thanks for joining us on the NBC Connecticut YouTube page. I'm Mike Heidick. We're talking Face to Facts with Senator McCrory. We appreciate your time.
Always.
He's involved in education, has been for a long period of time here in our state, educator, career educator. Let's talk about one of the things we can do to try to change what you call the opportunity gap, what's been called the achievement gap for years. When it's math scores, reading scores, what are we missing?
Well, we're missing an opportunity right now because we don't get a rebate. We don't get a rerun with this. One of the things that I didn't speak about earlier is the fact that we need to diversify our teaching population. All the research shows that when all students are taught by a diverse teaching population, that outcomes are immensely higher. So that's one of the things that we're driving to do this legislative session.
In some of our cities like New Haven, Hartford, Bridgeport, it's difficult to try to grab teachers and pull them in with. So does that mean we need to take stock of how much we pay our teachers, what the benefits are like? Obviously, on the backside of that, that's our financial problems with the state. So we have to be careful on both sides of that equation, right?
Yes, absolutely. But another thing we need to do is prepare our pre-service teachers. We have to start teaching our teachers about social emotional learning. They're going into classroom that they're normally not prepared for. Things that they don't provide them in the teacher prep programs. When they get into those classrooms, they're not ready for. So social emotional learning is very important for our pre-service teachers and our current teachers who are already been teaching.
So if you have a child who has problems at home or is being bullied at the bus stop and they come in and they're emotionally distraught, you kind of have to settle them down before you can teach them, right? So you have to teach a teacher how to do that? Is that what you mean?
It's called like trauma-informed instruction.
Right.
Absolutely. We know these things happen. We have to have our educators prepared to service those students when they come into their classroom.
So to be on the side of the teacher for a second, look, I got to teach to all these tests. Now I have to be a social emotional counselor too. How am I not getting paid more for this job?
I think every teacher should be paid more. Absolutely, and you're right.
I'm sure they'll tell you that, right?
Exactly, and they wear a number of hats. And one of the hats, our children have to be comfortable with the person in front of them. And by being comfortable, meaning that they have to know that the person cares. And one way you demonstrate that care is show some empathy for them when they come into the classroom.
How difficult is it to try to reach out and find teachers who have that kind of skill set and have that kind of sensibility?
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the absolutely key. People come in, I think every teacher come in with a good heart. They want to be successful. They want their children to be successful. But you got to have the skill sets to do it.
Let's talk about money. How do you pay for some of this stuff like that? When you try, we know that education is a huge portion of the state budget every single year, and funding goes back to each of the school systems. Should we change the funding formula? How do we kind of fix that?
There's questions about changing the formula. I think we have to look at that. We really do. And sometimes we're paying for kids twice because within the last 30 years, with all the new magnet schools, the charter schools, we really haven't realized how we're going to pay for those things. We've just been going year by year, but really got to sit back and analyze how are we going to fund all these programs and all these different school vehicles that we have for children.
One of the things you had mentioned you're passionate about is financial literacy when it comes to kids. There are programs out there like Junior Achievement. They come into classrooms, they teach them how to write checks and learn how to balance a budget. Should we do more like that in the state of Connecticut? What do we have now? What should we do?
Absolutely. So throughout the country, there's 17 states require our students to take some type of financial literacy course, not to graduate, but have a course in school. Connecticut doesn't require that. But however, like we talk about high resource school districts and low resource school districts, high resource school districts, they provide students the opportunity to learn about financial literacy. Lower resource school districts do not. We need to make that across the board, and that's why one of the policies I'm looking to implement this year during the legislative session.
Senator McCrory,
thank you.
Thanks for coming in Face to Facts.
This is Face the Facts with NBC Connecticut.